Well, guys, we've got huge news of big changes coming to Wrath of the Lich King Classic. The Wrath Classic PTR has been updated to build 3.4.1, which is Phase 2 Ulduar. Now, in this PTR build, we're going to see what's called Defense Protocol Alpha for achievements, and it appears this is what Activision will be calling Heroic Plus. Also, we're going to see Ulduar items more powerful than we've ever seen before. With the announcement that Ulduar gear is receiving an item level increase, we can already see how items are going to be more powerful in Ulduar. For example, the item Elemental Focus Stone, which drops from Auriaya in Ulduar, has equip your harmful spells have a chance to increase your haste rating by 522 for 10 seconds. But in this PTR build, it increases your haste rating by 552 instead, which is a 5.74% increase over the old version of the item. Now, we can probably expect these types of increases across all Ulduar items. And again, this is done because the difference between TOC gear, which is the following raid tier, and Ulduar was so big that everyone just stopped running Ulduar because TOC was just better. And this is Activision's attempt to encourage players to keep running Ulduar. Now, this ultimately has the potential to completely change BIS lists and how long players are keeping their Ulduar items. For example, Volunteer, Hammer of the Ancient Kings, the legendary healing mace, had a very powerful effect. But the stats sort of started to fall off from hard mode Icecrown Citadel onward. Now, with the current plans to increase its stats but leave the effect the same, Activision sees that this item will be used for the rest of the expansion after they make their changes. So pretty significant change there. And if you're enjoying this video so far, I'd appreciate a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future updates and changes. Moving on, the Heroic Plus or Defense Protocol Alpha Heroics. Now, what we know so far is that if players want to run Heroic Plus all day, all they need to do is have 5 players at the start of the instance channel the ritual object, which after all 5 players have clicked it, will make the Heroic into a Heroic Plus dungeon. Now, this ritual object will be just like clicking on a summoning portal or a refreshment portal. You just channel it until it completes. After completing this, the Heroic Plus dungeon will have all of its monsters buffed, increased damage, increased health, and even extra combat effects. It will usually be something significant enough that you'll have to play differently because of it. Something like Patches of Fire, maybe a frontal cleave. Not super complicated, but it's going to be something that will require you to pay attention. But really, the big news about Heroic Plus is that the gear that drops in them will be the same as 10-man Neo, which means Naxxramas, Eye of Eternity, and Obsidian Sanctum 10-man loot, in addition to the heroic loot that was already dropping, so you get both. So this means a lot of loot from these Heroic Plus dungeons. Not only that, though, don't forget that healers and tanks also get a box of additional items at the conclusion of the dungeon, usually potions, scrolls, food, water, etc., but sometimes also pets, and even the Reigns of the Ravenlord, Baron Rivendare's Death Charger, and the White Dragonhawk Strider rare mounts. So there's quite a bit of incentive for players to run Heroics and Heroic Plus dungeons well into the future, not to mention emblems for the Altaholics who want every single piece of heirloom gear. But you might be wondering, if Neo 10-man gear drops in Heroic Plus in Phase 2, what do you get when you actually raid those raids? Well, you'll get the 25-player gear, and when you raid 25-player version of these raids, you'll get 1 extra item per boss. It's also confirmed that the plan is to continue doing this in future phases. In Phase 3, when Trial of the Crusader comes out, the loot will sort of shift down. However, it is still up in the air whether they want hard mode Ulduar items to end up in Heroic Plus dungeons in Phase 3. But there's still a lot of time before Phase 3, and Activision can make up their mind on that. Now, in other news, there is significant evidence that there will be updates to the auction house. Now, if you've been auctioning since launch, you know that there's been lots of issues with slowness and downright a dysfunctional, non-operational auction house. I mean, right now, it's working pretty well, but there's not as many players auctioning and purchasing things, if you ask me. However, even after add-ons started to work again, we still had some issues. It was hard to get everything to work through the lag and errors. But in Phase 2, it looks like there's going to be some big updates coming to the auction house. Now, this is just data mined stuff, so we don't know the specifics, but there's definitely going to be some stuff coming in Phase 2. Now, again, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you'll be the first to hear when it's revealed what exactly those changes are. Now, not only are these auction house changes planned though, there's actually another really big one coming in phase 2, which is race and faction change. These are data mined in an Ulduar PTR build, so we can expect to have these 2 new features coming in phase 2, which is super exciting. If you want to switch to human for PvP, you can do that. If you want to switch to Draenei for PvE, all you. Maybe you can change factions so you can play with your friends. Super excited about that change coming in phase 2. That's not all though. We've also received confirmation that the arena point cap has been raised from 5,000 points to 10,000 points, which is consistent with Season 5 cap. No complaints from me here. And also, we received confirmation that the gold cap, which is currently 214,000 gold, does anyone even have anywhere close to that, by the way? Like, post in the comments the amount of gold you have, the highest amount of gold you've ever had in Classic. I'm honestly curious. I feel like very few people have ever gotten close to that. But the gold cap is staying there. Blizzard has announced that it's not changing because according to their data, relatively speaking, nobody is near that cap. Once again, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more WoW content, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.